marijuana and ecstasy. So I'll be talking about LSD and Nikita and Prashasti will be talking about ecstasy and marijuana respectively. So begin with, we have get an idea from the topic itself that hallucinogens are basically drugs. But do you know why we call them hallucinogenic drugs? Anyone know hallucinogens or hallucinogenic drugs from anyone has any idea?
Get hallucinations.
Exactly. So basically, the consumer of the drug see sensations and hallucination actually that aren't actually really there. So yes. So okay, so we call them hallucinations. So हम psychedelic drugs भी कहते हैं. But psychedelic ठीक है, why only psychedelic? So maybe because the kind of hallucinations and sensations we are having that are not normal actually. So when so if we ever Google psychedelic, so we can see these kind of images. You can see it over here. So there are vibrant colors, some swirling patterns, and some kind of hallucinations. So this is what actually a person sees when he is taking hallucinogens. So for example, let's take an example. For example, we have taken any hallucinogenic drug. So I might be looking at the wall, but for you, I'm just looking at a blank wall. But मेरे को क्या पता वो wall से दिख रही हो? The wall might be swirling or moving around, or might be some insects or animals dancing over it. So yeah, that's what a person sees when he has taken a hallucinogenic drug. So there are two types of hallucinogenic drugs that are natural and synthetic. Natural that we get from the environment, and synthetic drugs that we produce in labs. So to summarize what hallucinogens are a type of drugs that change a person's perception of reality. Hallucinogens make a person see, feel and hear things that aren't real or distort their interpretation of what's going on around them. Being under the influence of hallucinogens is commonly called tripping. So tripping is basically when the person is having hallucinogen, when the person is under the influence of that drug. So
I also like कि आप चल भी नहीं पाते, आप अपने आप को संभाल नहीं पाते, right? Like for example, if I ask Tanya to walk, तो वो ऐसे करके मतलब she will not be able to balance her body. इतना influence हो जाता है, उसको लग रहा होता है मैं सीधा चल रहा हूँ, लेकिन वो एक तरह से टेढ़ी चाल में चल रहा है, उसे basically tripping है. और गिरता हुआ अपने आप को संभालता हुआ महसूस.
So basically the person is actually having a trip during a trip sponsored by hallucinogens. Okay, so LSD. So I'll be talking about LSD. Does anyone know the full form of LSD? LSD की full form किसी को पता है? Lysergic acid diethyl. Yes, lysergic acid diethyl. So lysergic LSD is a type of psychedelic drug which is considered to be the most potent and harmful of hallucinogens. So वो इतना ज़्यादा powerful होता है कि it can produce intoxication even with a smaller amount, even an amount smaller than grain of salt. So there are some symptoms of why person having LSD जब उसे hallucination होता है. So psychological effects में can be hallucination, sensory distortion, paranoia, dysphoria. Physical effects में there might be dizziness, nausea, dry mouth, loss of appetite, anything जो भी चीज़ें हो सकती है while having a drug intake. And extreme use में we'll talk about that later in the next video. So LSD was first discovered by a Swiss chemist Albert Hofmann in 1930. He was not aware of how powerful LSD can be. So what he did, he tried it on himself. He the afterwards. Work in the laboratory in the middle of the afternoon and to go home. As I was seized by peculiar restlessness associated with the sensation of mild dizziness. On arriving home, I lay down and sank into a kind of drowsiness, which was not unpleasant and which was characterized by extreme activity of imagination. As I lay in a dazed condition with my eyes closed, I experienced daylight as distinctly bright. So just keep in mind this bold underlined word, experience this activity right. We'll talk about it later, okay? So they searched for me and in uninterrupted stream of fantastic images of extraordinary plasticity and brilliance and accompanied by an intense kaleidoscope like play of colors. Colors that I show you images just now. This connection gradually passed off after a while. So we got an idea that LSD the duration of that 2 hours, but it can be more depending upon the dose they expand. Person to person it depends. So it is confusing to understand this sentence, these sentences just by reading them to the experience. I have a clip of a movie for you guys to understand what hallucinogens are. So it is from the movie Sanju, where Sanjay was shown to take LSD. So can we have the clip? So he has taken the LSD and he is hallucinating after that. So he has taken the LSD or afterwards. Colors are not. kidney suffering. So this is what happened. Okay, so I was watching some YouTube videos for LSD, and then I looked on the comment section, and there are people who actually share their experiences about LSD while having a trip. So there are some experiences. So let us look at the first one on the right side. So this person has taken LSD few years back, and it felt like some aliens has grabbed him and threw him into the universe and playing with his body. So that was the person. These are the real comments. So I have taken from the YouTube video. So इंसान को aliens ने देखा universe में फेंक दिया, उसकी body के साथ फेंक दिया. और second, let's move on to second comment. I just tripped on LSD for the first time few weeks ago and had such a bad trip. I got caught in a terrifying type of loop and tried to attack my friend who I was tripping with. So he tried to attack his friend जो उसके साथ trip कर रहा था. He added an emoji. Okay, so last one. I took 2 tabs on the first time. About halfway through, I didn't recognize my friend who was devastating me through the trip. Later in my trip, I looked in the mirror and watched my face age and decay. And then I noticed my body twisting and decaying and contorting. Worst experience in my life I had to focus on seeing normal cells. Spent 2-3 hours tripping, freaking out. So these are the comments. Let's look at the second one here. So the person during his trip, he went in the state of consciously trying to undiscovered space or infinite long. He was flying in infinite.
Can we go little fast? This is other
I'm going to say last. So an interesting and unusual phenomena may occur sometime following the use of LSD is a flashback and involuntary recurrence of perceptual distortion or hallucinations. Weeks or even after months, the individual has taken the LSD. Flashback appears to be relatively rare among people who have taken LSD. So, when a person is having LSD, so this, after a few months, it can be effect, we can say, the person is seeing flashbacks. But it is more common in people who have continuously taken LSD than the rare ones. Because if a person has, it's not like not happening with people who have taken a couple of times, it can happen, but it's relatively rare compared to that who have taken it often. Okay, so even if no flashback occurred, one study found that continued effects of visual function were apparent at least 2 years after LSD. In this study, Abraham and showed that individuals who had used LSD for a week had reduced visual sensitivity to light using dark application and showed their visual problems compared with others. So the reduction in visual sensitivity might be because of in LSD we usually have visual hallucinations compared to other types of sensations. We have visual sensations more than any other sensation. So it might be because, for example, during the trip of Mr. Albert Hoffman, who discovered LSD first, he saw some bright daylight. Right? Might be because of that. Or in some cases, people have experienced vivid color patterns, colors, and hallucination for that matter, which might have influenced their life. So this is the reason why there is a reduction in visual sensitivity. So yes, that's all for LSD. Now Nikita will share.
Hello everyone. So today I am talking about ecstasy. So the first question I want to ask everybody is, what does the word ecstasy mean? Extreme elation. So it is a feeling of great happiness and excitement. So today we will be studying about the popular drug which seems really good but is not that good. So methylene dioxyamphetamine is basically a synthetic drug which alters mood and perception. It basically increases awareness of your surrounding objects, and it is chemically both a stimulant and hallucinogen, and It is produced by feelings of pleasure, excitement, emotional warmth, and distorted sensory and time perception. So there are some facts which is MDMA is basically illegal, and the street names are Molly, X, and ecstasy. It is also known to treat PTSD, psychosomatic disorders, and depression and suicidality. When researchers have found that combination of MDMA and psychotherapy is very, very effective, and it is also noted to have anti-anxiety properties. So guys, with good always comes bad. So now we'll talk about that how does it basically feel. So in about 20 minutes, it is typically taken in a pill form. It gives you a rush sensation. Basically, for example, when you see your crush, okay, then it is followed by a feeling of calmness, energy, and also well-being. People also have intense experiences of color and sound, which also comes with mild hallucinations. And it is in addition, it has high levels of energy and excitement. So now we'll talk about the physical and chemical properties. So basically, the free base of MDMA is a colorless oil, and it is insoluble in water. The most common salt of MDMA is hydrochloride salt. Pure MDMA is water soluble, and it appears to be white and white in crystal or powder form. So now we will be talking about. I'm very keen to know about the history of how such a drug came into being. How did you like to us? It's really interesting to know about this kind of a drug. So when we talk about the history, so it was first synthesized by a German company called Merck in the 1912. It was basically used as an appetite suppressant, and it was available in streets in 1980s. So it was used by college students and young adults, and there were late night parties called raves. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. And it was distributed in late night parties, in also rock concerts. It was distributed. It is basically used with combination of other drugs. It is usually not used with alcohol because it decreases its effect. Okay, so now let's look at the statistics. Okay, so National Institute of Drug Abuse stated that ecstasy has been rising since mostly among the high school students and middle school students. In 2009, it grew in 8th, 9th, and 10th, 12th grader students. And in 2009, it was seen that 7.3% of students have used ecstasy once in their lives. And recently, the Global Drug Service specially report COVID-19 saw that there was a reduction in the intake of ecstasy. It was from 37.6% to 26.3%. And mainly it was because of lockdown. Okay, so now when we have talked about what MDMA is, now we'll talk about a little about how is it abused. So basically, we can also look at the picture. Yeah, so it's not clear, but this is how it looks, and it is basically some smiley or any attractive form of thing is printed on it. People also use the brand prints to have it taken by people. So it is basically taken usually in a capsule or tablet form. It can last from 3 to 6 hours. Yeah. So now we'll talk about the effects. Now I would like to ask everybody what serotonin is. Yeah. So MDMA acts by increasing the activity of 3 neurotransmitters, which is serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine. Okay, so serotonin, I will just quickly explain the 3 of them. Serotonin helps in maintaining stable mood. Dopamine is involved in regulating mood, and norepinephrine is basically part of fight and flight response. So basically, when we talk about the emotional and pro-social changes, it is basically caused indirectly or directly by serotonin. It triggers the release of 2 hormones, which is oxytocin and vasopressin. It plays an important role in the feelings of love, trust, sexual arousal, and emotional closeness and empathy. Okay. So I would like to ask you all if you have seen the movie Project X, if anybody has seen. Okay, so that's an example. In that movie, basically there are students who have a great party. It's basically a rave, and in that the people take the pill and they have heightened emotions and they indulge into risky behaviors. And at the end of the movie, it shows that the house is burned down. Okay, so it's showing the negative effects which are confusion, anxiety, sleep issues, and basically in ecstasy there is a lot of drug taking. Okay. Okay, so now we can see what happens when you have overdose ecstasy. So there is cardiovascular issues and central nervous system issues, respiratory, urinary, and other. You can just have a look. Everybody can just have a look at it. Okay, so now we will look at the short and the long-term effects. So we will talk about the long-term effects, which have confusion, depression, paranoia, muscle tension, teeth clenching, faintness, swelling, and you have blurred vision. Okay, so now we will just quickly see the long-term effects. There is damaging of thought and memory, damage to portions of brain used in critical functioning. So that is a lot. And there is degenerated nerve and nerve endings, kidney failure, hemorrhaging, and psychosis is also a part of it, and cardiovascular collapse, and finally it can lead to death. Okay, so this is not as pleasurable as seems, and guys, I just want to say that it is not pleasurable if it's ruining your life, and life can take you much higher than drugs. So now we will be talking about coming to the end only. I am talking about dependence and withdrawals. So studies have indicated there was a okay, so studies indicate that there was repeated recreational users have depression and anxiety when they are constipated, and 60% of MDMA users have withdrawal symptoms, which include loss of appetite and trouble concentrating. Now we will be talking about the treatment. This definitely seems dangerous, but there are ways to cope up. So I would just say that there are no specific treatment for MDMA use, but the most effective treatment of drug use is the cognitive behavioral interventions, which basically helps a person to modify their thinking, expectations, and behavior, and it also increases their skills to in coping with life stressors. So, and there is no pharmacological treatment for the dependence of MDMA. Okay, so lastly, I would like to conclude by saying that at first you may choose to take a drug. You may think that you know how much to take it or how often you take it, but it does have a lot of physical and long-term effects. So, take it before it takes you. Thank you. Now I would like to just take it.
Hi, I'm Pushpasti. So my topic is marijuana and marijuana consumption basically. Before I go into the same old read off about the explanation and related to effects, I'd like you all to connect with me of these characters. So first off is Argyle from Stated. How many of you know that? Okay, great. So next one is Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. I'm sure many of us have watched it. I ruined my whole childhood by googling this, but basically he's a stoner in disguise. So yeah, and
follow it from your English. I want to know.
okay, sorry.
Let me learn. So basically, hear from the English. We grow with you, because otherwise, you will have such a huge ambition gap. And one of our retired professors used to say, I stayed young because I was in college. So actually, you have to help me in knowing these people.
So Argyle is a very usual consumer of marijuana, and he also, somewhat helps. I use the term helps, but he helps his peers also get into marijuana consumption. So he's basically a very active consumer, and
And he's around because he's independently doing it.
yeah, he's he's always hungry, he is always, unkempt features and baggy clothes, and this was supposed to be a very stereotypical view of stoners back in the 60s. So that's what his character is based on. So now that you all seem to be pretty much, familiar with the concept of consuming marijuana or cannabis today, let me begin with the origin and effects. So marijuana comes from the leaves of the flowering tops of the hemp plant, which is also known scientifically as cannabis sativa. You might have come across hemp in several forms of fabric. To give you a live example, my bag is made of hemp fabric. So, marijuana consists chiefly of dried green leaves, and it is ordinarily smoked in the form of cigarettes or pipes. You might be familiar with the slang terms called weed pod or joints and even weed pods. Marijuana comes from the, marijuana is related to a more potent drug called hashish, which is derived from the resin exuded by the top of the cannabis plant, and it's made into this gummy sort of powder, which is like made into, I don't know what it is, but as you can see it there. Since hashish like marijuana is usually smoked, and although marijuana can be considered a mild hallucinogen, there are significant differences between the nature and intensity and duration of its effects, and those induced by some hardcore hallucinogens like LSD or mescaline. Both marijuana and hashish can be traced back far into history, which is really cool. Cannabis was apparently known in ancient China and was listed in the herbal compendium or collection of the Chinese emperor known as Shen Yun, and it was written in around 2700 BC. So yeah, that's really long ago. And what's even more interesting is that even today, after so many ages, marijuana is the most frequently used illicit drug. True, people might, correct me when I say call it a drug, but you can't deny the facts. Now moving on to some statistics. In the United States, 7.5% of those 12 years and older have reported having used marijuana in the past weeks. Now, after reading the statistics, you do feel like why Shaggy wasn't, directly shown as stoner, but okay. This is something out of syllabus that I have decided to include in my presentation because I feel like you all should know. So the central law that deals with cannabis in India is the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act, which was passed in 1985. However, different states have their own laws relating to the consumption, sales, and processing of weed and marijuana. In general, in India, possession of these drugs is considered a criminal act. So if you do smoke it, I don't know if any of you do, please do it in secret. Did you know that even bhang, also again out of syllabus topic, but did you know that bhang is also obtained from the same plant that marijuana is? Although, okay, how many of you have tried bhang or been intoxicated by bhang wholly or other occasions? No, really speaking also. Okay, so you are familiar with it, right? Okay. So bhang is basically the seeds of the plant, whereas the other parts are the flowering parts that are more illegal or illegal. So technically, it's not really illegal in India since it's used in many occasions.
What are the effects which it has on individuals?
Bhang or marijuana? Thank you for asking. I was coming to that. The specific effects of marijuana can be very different and can depend on a myriad of things like quality and dosage, users' mood, their past experience, the environmental setting, and so on. However, regular users do agree that once they have inhaled or smoked marijuana, a slight state of intoxication does result, where they do know what is happening around them, they are in control, but either they're zoned out or have become hyper-focused on something. This intoxicated state is one of mild euphoria, which is characterized by increased feelings of well-being, heightened perceptual apathy, and pleasant relaxation, accompanied by the feeling of floating or drifting away. That is also why it's called getting high, because you feel like literally you're flying. Now I'd like medical marijuana treatment is consistent with other forms of drug treatment and may not adversely affect the outcome in any way, whereas others argue that marijuana does not actually help cure an illness, and it only acts as a painkiller, whereas medications already do exist for pain-killing purposes. So what is the need for marijuana specifically? That's the question that we like to pose. So this topic is very actively debated and there's no right or wrong answer, just perspectives and opinions. So to explain this further, I'd like to show you, next slide please, two comments that I found under a YouTube video on marijuana. So in one video, in one comment they say that they've been weed for months and it's the best that they have ever felt. And further states how there should be limited access to marijuana, whilst the other implies that it must be legalized, that because it helps them with several symptoms of PTSD and regulate their sleep emotions better. They both argue two different things. And neither of their opinions can be labeled as wrong, but that is the complexity of this debate. So I hope we come to a decision.
About marijuana, that in some countries it is legalized.
I was coming to what Ma'am said. Countries like Argentina, Chile, Colombia, Uruguay, and many more that have decriminalized or legalized the use of cannabis, surprisingly, are now deemed as the best weed-friendly places to visit in 2022. I did Google it myself, so news is correct. Even Canada legalized the use of medical marijuana, whilst many other larger countries have deemed it illegal for consumption or cultivation. So adding to the fact, I guess it would be correct to assuming that this is a debate that will go on for a long time in the future as well. It possibly also goes without saying that there has been no development in treating cannabis dependency, which definitely is a thing. It is something that many young and older adults have been suffering from, but no therapeutic or medical treatment interventions have proven to be effective as of yet. I'm on my last slide. Just 2 minutes. Sorry. As a replacement, as you can see, many people have tried to come up with synthetic drugs such as marijuana, which create these psychoactive effects but without the original substance in it, so that they are not subject to prosecution. The first one is synthetic cannabinoids and the second is synthetic cannabinoids. Now synthetic cannabinoids is pretty self-explanatory, but synthetic cathinones are something you might encounter on a daily or a regular basis. They are also known as bath salts. So yeah. They first appeared in the illegal drug scene in 2010, and since then they have been examined in human epidemiologic and laboratory animal studies. And these psychoactive synthetic drugs have been found to produce more increased motor activity, agitation, violence, and psychosis-like effects and heart problems. So they're not a very good replacement, I'd say. That is the end of my presentation. I hope everything I explained about marijuana